through the fires of a culture that praises the unrighteous and celebrates mediocrity. It's time for a new age, when power to tell stories of the future will be in the hands of the people. Rise up! Become the culture! Hail the Iron Age! Ladies and gentlemen, it is I, the Ultimate Kahuna!
And anyway, here's Evaleigh music. Hello, everybody.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Or it should be.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Next week on Dragon Ball Z. Anyway. Yo, Mr. Brian McCoppin. Magi-chan coming in here early. I love it. Anyway, today, Mr. Evaleigh and I are going to be discussing the first 4 stories of ANVIL magazine number 1, issue 1. Now, this came out nearing on a year ago, actually.
I know, it's crazy.
That's pretty wild, dude.
Yeah.
But yeah, we have that. We have the sucker here today. It's like picking it up again. We kind of forget a couple things about it, and Evaleigh was nice enough to point out. It's like, man, this paper is thicker than I remember. I mean, that's a thick boy.
It feels really good in your hands, is all I can say. It's nice and sheen. The paper is very reflective, which I appreciate.
Very good in your hand.
It feels like I could spill something on this and just wipe it off, and it wouldn't absorb into the page at all. I didn't test that. I don't recommend it, but it feels like you could.
Don't tell Richard that definitely happened. Everybody here, you're sworn to secrecy. Especially you, Brian. I know how you like to talk. Wait, that's what she said? Very, very good. Very good. Clap. Very good.
Golf clap?
Yeah. Just. Or like, oh, that's so questionably sexual. Anyway. So the idea for this is we're going to cover parts of ANVIL, different issues of ANVIL magazine periodically, just like we do comics on occasion. And kind of just go over what are our basic thoughts on it. Give a little bit of a reading and just get it out there. Get more people. No one listens, Florida man.
I'm really good at giving basic thoughts, so this will work out well.
I only have 2 kinds of thoughts: really basic and very basic. Anyway, Tenkage, welcome to the show, brother.
It's not Tank Age.
Oh, or yeah. Oh, what was it? I always called him Tenkage, and Royce does too.
I think it's Tenkage, yeah.
Yeah.
It's like Sybil or T.S. Bowl.
It's what's funny is they're both friends. They've known each other for like well over a decade, and everybody always says their names incorrectly. I think it's a pattern.
Oh, the Tank Age. Or wait, is that the tank Age?
Yeah, like a Hokage from Naruto.
He said
There you
yes. I
go.
think both are correct. I think this is I'm just. This does remind me of. I know this one guy, and his name he picked for his music project. I tell you what, not smart. Not smart.
I like yours, but the problem
Nobody
is
gets it right.
everybody says yours wrong as well.
I know, that's what I'm saying. It's like forever it's been Evaleigh. I'm like, should I just Warhol this thing? Like they dropped the A. Do I just roll with it, or what? It's Andy Warhola. They printed his name Warhol, and he just rolled with Warhol. So I'm like, should I just become Evaleigh? Should I change the spelling to AY?
Also, apparently Tank Cage says both are correct. I'll
Oh,
explain in voice chat or stream one day. You should, because I'm curious. Because right now I'm thinking of Brian's version of your name.
10 shadows.
ooh, spicy. I don't have any fancy voice buttons over here.
I do, and mine still works. Actually, voices still works as well, but it's looking a little rough there for a minute.
What's up, animation overlord? Overload. Oh my days!
Animation
this does not bode
Overlord
well for
sounds correct, doesn't it?
I'm running on fumes, so this is going to be interesting.
I know. Because we're like we're the meme of the last two brain cells, just like
Yeah. Well, I'm like everybody else. I've been sick for the past week, so I'm like, no. We said let's make this happen. We made it happen. I'll get my coffee going.
Well,
here,
you've been deathly sick. I can't shave my facial hair in perfect unison. It's not symmetrical. So we all have problems, is what I'm saying.
Big up, Andrew Campbell. Welcome,
Andrew. What's up, man? Anyway, so getting into it, our first story. You tell me your thoughts on it. I'll bring up that picture real quick if I have it here. Yeah.
Oh, the first story. Let's see. So, I thought it was a good way to start the book. It's fast. Like my notes need to be better,
It's
but
explorative. It's fun.
it moves. There are, if you look at like the plot points, some stories are like they're in this room and there's a conversation, then they go to this room, then this happens and that's the end. This one's not like that. It starts off with I believe is it called lore dumping, chat? Is that what it's called? Whenever they start hitting you with like different names, like it starts off with that.
Yeah. No, it's just lore dumping, and if you're a good author in fantasy, you're able to do this creatively or in a way that isn't overly intrusive on the reader's time and doesn't waste it. Some books tend to front load it. Think of Lord of the Rings, or in the movies, the Lord of the Ring movies. That entire sequence in the beginning is just a lore dump, but it's very, very good.
I feel like the word dump should be like a lore gentle pouring out, a lore drop. Drop the lore.
I call it a lore plop because that's what I leave it.
Anyway,
makes that plopping sound when
I can't tell if that's Trump or somebody else.
Tremendous plops, the biggest plops.
When I try to go Trump, it always turns into the Godfather.
It does, man. I don't.
Frankly, the biggest, the biggest. Anyways, there's 7 words into this story, and there's a word talking about words that are hard to name. Even the story itself, a thief of Perun. I believe there's an arrow.
In my mind, I read it as Perun.
As the thief of Perun. Yeah, I read it as Perun, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar enough with
I am a thief of Perun.
That does sound nice. I think you're right. That sounds right.
Imagine it.
Oh.
I left my father and mother.
No, I don't. What the hell? My name is Inigo Montoya.
So it starts off. You got Perun. This is by Joshua M. Gonzalez, by the way. So we got
animation. That's a sus comment, by the way. Lore spread. Spreader. I barely know her. Anyway. Jeez.
So
guys, forgive me. We're gonna have some bad jokes in here tonight. I don't know what's going on.
It's got to be entertaining. If you're just dry and talking about, if we did NPR voice, it'd be boring. Can't be boring.
So, guys, we're gonna be going over a comic here today.
Oh yes, I found this Thief of Perun to be a rather interesting read. I recommended it for my Mima. She also enjoyed it. She thought it was nice. So we get these Kenan. In here, it's in the venture to Erethes, westernmost island in the known world. And so there's just a lot. They're building. It's the kind of thing that if you really sit down, I read the paragraph like 3 or 4 times, like, okay, and I'm like trying to picture all of it. and it's just a lot packed into the first paragraphs right off the bat. I'm like, okay, there's a lot happening in a short amount of time, and I think that is consistent with the rest of the story, where it moves. Something happens. This is going on. Then we're going here.
It doesn't dwell on the dumping. Wow.
Yeah, it doesn't dwell. That's true.
It doesn't dwell on the dumping. And Evaleigh, you and I have talked quite a bit. I do read without being insulting, more advanced fantasy novels than you do, at least regularly.
How dare you? Yeah. If my rule is, if it doesn't have coloring pages in it, and if it doesn't have pop-ups, what's the point?
Yeah, I know, seriously. But if you're an advanced fantasy reader, you've seen books where they have 4 separate opening chapters, all in sequence, and a lot of it is lore dumping. I don't like that motion you just did.
You're waving at me. Yeah.
No.
So the point I was trying to make is just that there's something there. It's not like this. It's not crazy. I mean, they're short stories. You're not going to have pages and pages of that sort of thing. Where right off the get go, I'm like having to think like, okay, and it does build up a lot. But like I was saying, it's just it moves a lot. It's very fast paced. The entire story. There's a lot of action happening. There's a seedy underbelly.
He's kind of like he's a thief-like kind of character. It's always fun to follow these guys kind of just sneaking around. And obviously, like as you see in this picture here, taken directly from the magazine, it doesn't stay sneaky for very long. It turns into exciting action very quickly, even before this, with the fire-spewing freaking monstrosities. What were the salamander? That's the word. The fire-breathing salamander, which I just love. Check it out! We have a special someone,
Mr. IronAge.media.
There we go.
Yes. So the main character, he's a thief character's name, I believe, is Lack Lamb. Is that how you read it?
You said 3 names. Which one are you asking about?
Is this the kind of thing too? Do people get hung up on this stuff, or is it just my ADD kicking in, where I'm like, how do you say this word? I love words. I like to know the origin. Like, is this from another language? Is it piecing things together?
It's typically made up words based off of practices from other languages. That's most typical. And so with this story, what you're getting a lot, honestly, Evaleigh, advice for stuff in the future. If a book like this starts throwing weird fantasy terms or things that don't make sense to you right away, just treat it as word salad and mentally don't try to figure it out. Just kind of move on. You'll figure it out as you go.
You're asking a lot of me. I'm like, I need to know about this. How do you look up this word? Like 7 words in, I'm on Google looking up what the word is, the origin, what language it's from, see what I could find. So yeah, he's sneaking around and he's stalking. He's in this pub and he hears some fellas talking. And from there, he starts hearing about some things.
Also, Lamb will be returning in issue 4 for your information.
Oh, that's awesome!
We have recurring characters.
Awesome.
ANVIL magazine. That's just for you, Richard.
That's exciting to hear because I think this format too of these stories are fairly short, where you could read through it and then you could do an episode. It would be like a book club but condensed. Because a book club can be hard. Not everybody has all the time, even in a month, to read an entire book, even a short book, to get through it and then join, a reading club type stream like has been done before. But for something like this, to do a story, a week, every other week.
A single story, it's a no-brainer. I read all of ANVIL magazine issue number 1 when my children were at during their classes for gymnastics. That's where I got all of my reading for ANVIL magazine number 1.
Nice. I various places. I'd pick it up here and there for a few minutes and that sort of thing. But going back through it, it's been interesting how much I remember bits and pieces of stories, but because there's so many too, and they go so quickly, going back in there, I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot. It's almost like reading some of them again for the first time, which is really cool. Because to me, that's whatever replayability is in the book world.
Also, we didn't mention it. For those who haven't read ANVIL magazine, The Thief of Perun is by Joshua M. Gonzalez. Because we're professionals and we always give proper citation.
Yes. And he's got a couple of other stories on a website and stuff, so we can post that up maybe at the end of of our little chit chat.
Yeah, yeah, I have links in the description in the video below as well. Also, the way that it's format, I don't know if it'll, there we go. The way it's formatted, the way images are kind of sewn into it, how it doesn't have to take up the entire page. Each page is two different basic like pages, so to say, in terms of reading. And I like the way that's broken up a bit. It makes it a lot less intimidating than just giant blocky walls of text.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it's very the professional Kahuna for
That's
all
very
your special needs. Wait.
That's so cool though. If this does become a common theme where you have recurring characters, I think that's really exciting because it's not just something. If you do spend the time, like I was starting to dig into this world and try to understand it more, it's not just necessarily a one-off for this story because we have confirmed here from the man at the helm that these characters will be coming back, which is awesome. And I don't think I'm not sure if there's any examples offhand. If there's stories in here that then are part of a larger world. I know Ghost of the Badlands is a snippet.
Some of them are, yeah.
And I know that with Immortal Comic Rising or Infinitales, this is my sick brain taking over. The comic in I believe in Anvil 2, that was a side story of a larger world. So that's really cool. I think that's interesting that this magazine does that. It's not just one and dones all the time.
I agree.
So yeah.
Also, any big thoughts on this story?
Like I said, I mean, it has a little bit of everything. There's action in here. We got monsters in the form of the fire-breathing salamanders.
That's a salamander for anyone wondering.
Oh, okay. I thought it was meow, meow. Yes. No. But yeah, there's some drama in there with some family stuff going on. We get a little bit of a peek into Lamb's history. He's talking about, I guess could you say daddy issues a little bit?
I would say so. I would say there's definitely some father issues. Let's not make it too personal. Also, okay. IronAge.media says, speaking of short story clubs, I have an idea I'd like to pitch later. Well, you can pinch, or wait, you can.
You can.
Wow.
Pinch
anyway,
dumps,
you can
pinching.
You can pitch that tent whenever you like.
Out.
Wait a second. It's getting worse.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
But how did you feel about this world? It has a lot of elements of more of kind of modern fantasy, I would say, more than older fantasy. But the monsters and the adventuring aspect and how what situation transforms from one bad situation into another is more reminiscent of older fantasy, kind of pulpish fantasy that I've read.
Gotcha.
Because every situation just bleeds into the next without a lot of breathing room, especially with this being a short story. I really enjoyed this story for what it was. I thought it was the perfect way to start out.
I agree completely. Like I said, it's fast right off the get-go. You're not wading into it. It's like, let's go. All these things are happening, and there's just a lot going on. And it's cool. There's good fights in it. There's action. He's going down ropes. He's doing these different things.
Swimming,
he's
everything.
Swimming at one point. Yeah, it's just a lot happening. I thought that was nice. It's the kind of thing, as I was reading through, and the more that I read in general, I do think I have a preference for stories that have a little bit more of a kind of a slow, maybe slow is the wrong word, a pacing that's a little bit
slow, a bit of a slow burn. That's
a little bit more like me. Yeah, slow burn.
Slower.
Yeah.
We're gonna get canceled, but it's fine.
Oh no, it's just I said it's me. It's how I am. So I did enjoy it. I don't know that I would want every single story to be like this. I think I'd probably be like, wow, it's just so much happens. It's a lot. But I think it's a great way to start off the book. I'm looking forward to the next time Lamb shows up and to see what other adventures we go on. And this story, as we'll probably mention here in a little bit, this is, I believe, Joshua M. Gonzalez's first published story that's been put out there.
Yeah,
my memory is functioning.
It says so, right? It has a little section about the author at the end here, and it it covers that. It's his first published work. Pretty fantastic. The works of he was inspired by Robert E. Howard. I could definitely feel that. Gene Wolfe, Jack Vance, Michael Moorcock. It's written all over his work. The descriptions are effective and short. They're not overly purple and drawn out and long in that way. But yeah, no, I'll just highlight my favorite portion of this story right here. And that's going to be right at the very end. Whoa, that's loud. Hold on. There we go. I'm going to turn that down just a little more. There we go. Lock-lack, lock-lack. A faint voice whispered in the dying flames. Lamb turned, cold sweat on his furrowed brow, the knuckles of his hand turning white as he tightened the grip on his bloodied dagger. But all that was left among the smoldering ruins were the whispers of the dead. He turned his back on the dimming green glow of the embers, leaving the cavern behind and becoming one with the shadows once more.
Mhm.
And that's the end. And of all the stories that I remember reading in Anvil #1, the ending here, it was perfect. It was absolutely fantastic. It had an element of it gave you an unanswered question. It gives you a little bit of mystery. It lets you know that the main character is all right and that he is once again returning to the state he was at the beginning of the story, which in a serialized kind of story is very important. And it has all the pulpy elements that I love. And plus, just a big old man. Like, I'm gonna walk away from the flames, the glow of my destroyed enemies, like a boss. And I enjoyed that.
Yeah, well said. I don't know that I can add anything to that. I agree with everything you said.
Tremendous kahunas.
That's what you can add.
That's what I'll just say at the end of everything. Yes. What you were talking about, you said, I forget the exact context now, but you said something about mystery, correct? Intrigue. Is that the word?
Yeah. There's the unanswered question.
There we go. The unanswered question. That was the
What
wording.
is the whispering in his head, or is it real? Is there
Yes.
something?
And that's something we were talking about, kind of the stories we're covering tonight. If we noticed anything, themes or anything that kind of carries over a through line, and I believe that is a part of that. Maybe not unanswered questions, but that air of mystery is something that I think pops up in the next couple of stories as well. It's
hold on, I gotta scold somebody. Birdie and Books, Alicia says, "Sorry, I'm late."
Don't let it happen again.
never again.
This
Unforgivable.
is your last opportunity. One more time. That's it. No 3 strikes and you're out.
Anyway, hey, Bat Sauce has also joined us. Alicia, thank you for joining us. Bat Sauce, you're a G. And we got Mr. Daniel P. Riley here as well.
Hey, what's going on? Hi, everybody. And can you pull up the card too? Because I think I had the other stories on there. The website. There's QR codes inside of the magazine.
Yes.
Yeah. Just for anybody, if you don't have the magazine yet, first of all, shame on you. Go get one. But secondly,
the links will be in the description. But there's also some cards that he was able to put together here, and I have them on hand because I am a professional.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing. I mean, a big part, I think, of this magazine, this show, and everything else is to bring a spotlight to these authors on some level. And
Absolutely.
If you think that sounds cool, or you're just interested in learning more about the author, they got the QR codes are in the magazine. You can scan them. They have it here. It takes you to his website, and there's a couple of other works here that were also listed, and that I believe you can find them there. I think these were all web-based, pretty sure, if I remember correctly, and apologies if I'm incorrect on that.
And especially with a magazine or a short story kind of collection like this, like Anvil, it's so, despite it being around for almost a year now, it's still young. And so when you get such a fantastic author like Joshua to contribute to the magazine, they end up qualifying each other over time, because Joshua is a very good writer, just based off of what we've seen here. And the fact that he has ended up in this magazine qualifies the magazine, and as the magazine becomes more notorious and grows in popularity, it will qualify Joshua as well. So it's this a bit of a symbiotic relationship, kind of like I'll stretch it to a weird example. The Guardians of the Galaxy movies were uplifted to a higher status because of the old classic music that they used in the movies, but that music being in those movies repopularized a bunch of those old songs as well. It was a bit of a two-way street, and that's something I love about the Iron Age in general, is that as time goes on and as we are more collaborative and we help each other and we keep moving forward, each person involved, it's going to help them and they're going to help as well. And like Evaleigh and I, we've known each other for a while now. He did the opening song for my channel. Anyone who was here in the beginning of the episode will have seen my intro using this music that he made, and he just remastered, by the way. So I'm gonna need to update that as well. And that's just one example. There's been so many other collaborations that have been very valuable, and Anvil magazine is a brilliant example of that in this space.
Yeah, it's really cool. You can find your new favorite author in here and get a sneak peek at some others, and it's just cool. And I think it's especially cool that Mr. Gonzalez over here got the first story in the first issue, so that's pretty special. And the fact that he's coming back is really cool, and I'm happy to hear that.
Rock.
Yeah,
I'm all down for it.
yeah.
And the next story that appears in the magazine, at least sequentially, is going to be The Fleet of Theseus. And I'm going to share the
Fleet of the Zeus. Which
See?
is that a thing? Is that a I felt like there was references to that in here. Was it just in world, or is that a thing outside somewhere that I just am unaware of?
Theseus is a character from Greek mythology. And yeah, he was a seaman. I'm not exactly I'd have to Wow. Wow. Anyway, he said seaman.
He did it again.
Anyway. Also, Batsaw says I discovered one of my favorite songs from Guardian. Yeah. No, I could see that. Yeah, we learned.
Oh, from Guardians of the Galaxy?
Yeah.
Oh, wonder which song it is.
Maybe not
Copyright.
that, but
All right,
I'm not that good. We're not getting copyright.
So this story is from Daniel J. Snow, which is son of, I believe, what we call the Queen of the Iron Age.
The Queen of the Iron Age.
Right.
First of her name.
Mrs. R.H. Snow, who is the author of the
Watcher of the Damned.
Thank you. It's like
There you go.
something, yeah, man, sick brain. Yes,
We're
Watcher of the
so
Damned.
in sync. We're so in sync.
I know, all over it. So it's really cool. And to see that, just before we even dive into this, I mean, you're getting multi-generational storytelling, which is awesome. You know, people are talking about something you can pass down to your kids. And I would say in that first story, too, we didn't really touch on this, but it's, PG-13. There was nothing that crazy in there, right? Guy gets stabbed in the groin.
There's
Trapped in the
violence.
fire. Yeah.
What do you do?
Crazy. Yeah, it's not anything too brutal. And this one, though, a little bit more. We're going to take that and crank it up a little bit in terms of the gore intensity.
We're going to toss a little spice in there. Just a little bit.
Just a little bit of spice. Just a little bit.
Also, R.H. Snow, very good friend of mine. We've talked about this before. If she is unable to finish writing her books before her time on this mortal coil comes to an end, her son, Daniel, will finish writing her series for her. They've discussed it. It's always been part of the plan if things don't reach their natural conclusion.
Mm-hmm.
At least
I will say,
wise.
Based off of this, I think it's in pretty good hands. Yeah. Pretty good writing in this one. In fact, it was there's one part where I'm like reading this, I'm like, wow, this ship sounds ramshackle. I was like, that's a good word. I like that word. And then 2 sentences later, it's like, oh, it was equally a ramshackle ship. So it's like, nice.
Yeah.
This thing, and that'd be a perfect word for this.
I feel it's like we're thinking the same language.
Yeah. It made me feel like oh, I'm so smart. I know a word too.
I know the words. Also, the ramshackle is a perfect way to describe it because it's like their equipment is falling apart. It's like this viewport was a viewport for generations. It's now covered with steel.
Yep.
And I'm drinking a cup of coffee. It's such a different approach to how the first story went too. I do love how like in the first one, it's like he's already sneaking around, kind of in mission. And this is like, anyway, the heat sink failed. The ship's falling apart. I can't see space anymore. And I'm drinking my coffee. It's a good morning.
Yeah, so we're going from a thief on this, coast of this barbarian city in the first story that has kind of that medieval fantasy adventure-y kind of flavor to it. And now we're flipping the switch and we're going into a sci-fi direction with this story. and they're part of this group of ships that are been doing their thing for a while and just kind of getting by. But how long can you just continue getting by?
Also, what happens when things go inevitably wrong?
And this is the kind of thing too. This basic premise from this story is something that I've seen done in a lot of other my wife loves sci-fi. She watches a lot of the movies and things like that. And I've seen this kind of premise and setup in so many things, but I've never seen a story that goes in the direction this one does. And it's kind of
it's a familiar approach, but with it takes a very alternate path.
Yes, and I feel like I'm willing to bet. I bet Richard did this as well. By the time he got to the end of this and the revelation of what exactly is going on in this scenario, did you giggle a little bit? It made me giggle a little bit. It's not supposed to be a funny moment, but it's just the way it's described. Like if you step back and look at how it's terrifying in the story in a way, but it's also so absurd. It made me laugh, and I appreciate that because usually I watch, I'm like, okay, I'm predicting this. That's what happened. All right, got it. And this I'm reading, like, that's wild. That is wild. That's okay. That was good.
Well, it's like there's a special sweet spot that because sci-fi always it tends to feel a little closer to reality than fantasy, despite some writers' best wishes, George R. R. Martin. And so when it turns to horror, it's always hits a little closer to home than majority of fantasy, which is something that I appreciate. And also, I was rereading the story today, just getting ready for this. I love seeing the similarities in Daniel and his mother's writing style. It's very funny because I wonder I doubt it's a conscious thing. It's just something, just genetic or just, being in proximity to one another. It's like all the characters love to have flashbacks and have these remembrances. But the difference is they write them well, which is key. If you're going to be thinking back on something, it has to be relevant to what you're doing now, or it has to be written well enough that you don't bother going back in time to a different place. And so I enjoy that in a good story. It's actually it's kind of a classic staple of a lot of Western written fiction as well, which they're both influenced by. But yeah,
that's neat. That's very, very cool.
Good thoughts, Evaleigh. Good thoughts.
I was trying to think. It's like sweet. It's touching. It's cool. I mean, it is. It's cool. That's the best word for it, man. Cool is cool.
Also, I didn't take a picture.
You can
of this
read
one,
different.
I've got to show it though. Look at that. Look at the art. All of the art that Richard decided to put in Anvil magazine is just fantastic, man.
Yeah.
Like,
the quality of everything is it's all really good. There's not like points of this where it's like, that's a low point or this looks good. Like everything looks and feels great this entire book. From the stories and the art and the ads, just everything. It's the paper itself that we talked about is nice.
It's thick.
It's nice. It's thick. So we got this captain on the new captain, I believe, if I remember correctly. The old captain was found dead on this ship, and he's just talking about how things are as they are. They're not great.
Like,
they're kind of just held together with duct tape and
disassembled on purpose. It was done very intentionally. What's going on here?
So they've just been doing their thing in space for a while. There was something called the Great Impact that destroyed Earth 170 years ago. And
this is when I sat down. Spoilers. Anyway.
So they're looking for a heat shield.
Self-burn. F.
Yeah. Self-deprecating humor. That's fine. It's good stuff. They enter this, I wrote debit field. Got in there, sick of credit. They're getting, I believe it's a debris field, and there's a Republic and an Alliance. There's space battles and such going on, it sounds like, and they're just remnants of these battles floating around in space, and they're just kind of,
it feels like an official government, like, military unit that has turned mercenary out of necessity. That's how it feels. Now, whether that's necessarily the case or not, I'll let you guys judge, but... Also, animation, I know this reference, and I appreciate it. I just want you to know. Think of the worst possible thing you can possibly imagine, and multiply it by 6! Anyway.
So,
Daniel P. Riley says, the Queen and I are constructing a plan for that, if she isn't able to finish her story, God forbid. Let's see. Narm Charm. Thank you, Boncher. Great contribution.
the Bonch.
If you like realistic literary horror, you should try Stephen Graham Jones.
Stephen Graham Jones, I believe.
No, I'm reading it as Stephen, just like I read a character as named. I read
If that's
him
the
as
case, then it's Stephen Graham Jones, I believe.
Stephen Graham Jones.
Jones, yes.
Jonese.
Jo-
Is he Japanese? Nigatsu. Anyway. Also, hail Matt
Hey,
from
what's
Metal
up,
Movies and
MME?
Brewskis. Guys, check out his channel. He's
Right.
been covering indie comics for years.
Yes. Yep.
Much better than I do, but anyway.
It's different flavors, it's just different flavors. A little of this, a little of that. It's all good. It's all good. So they're basically they're basically scavenging these ships that are floating around to get parts to keep theirs going, more or less.
It feels like
right?
a more military heavy version of Firefly, which I appreciate as well.
I kind of see that. So they basically need to go on these ships, and they usually go in, they get whatever they need, and they're going into one with a small team, and there's weird stuff. Like usually they go in, there's bodies, and there's evidence that people were in there at some point, and there's not.
They're able to kind of piece together what happened. In this case, not so much.
Yeah, weird stuff. There's no bodies. I'm like, well, that's kind of weird. Well, let's definitely just keep exploring. Maybe we should split up, that sort of thing.
And nothing can go wrong.
Yeah. So, they keep exploring, and eventually they discover that there is. Well, I don't know. We're gonna do the spoilers here. We want people to go pick it up.
I think we could just give. We've kind of given our basic impressions. Let's have final thoughts.
All right.
On the fleet of Theseus.
Again, the ending of this story is it's not supposed to be funny. Just I don't know, twisted sense of humor or something. It struck me funny. It's actually terrifying, and sort of like that could happen. This scenario makes sense. I understand why it would be the way that it is and all of that, but it's still, there's a couple lines of dialogue and just the way it's spun that it could be interpreted as funny if you have, a mind like mine where I'm always looking for the humor in things. But I really enjoyed it. It had me going. I was flipping the pages, and a lot of times whenever I've watched sci-fi movies with this kind of setup and everything, I get bored. And this one, I was not bored at all. I enjoyed it the whole way through. I thought the twist at the end was good.
That's high praise. Also, because Evaleigh hates movies. All movies.
Most movies are just bad. It's not that I hate. I love movies whenever they're not.
You hated Tombstone.
Yeah, because
disqualified.
No, dude, the main character. Oh, don't even get me started on Wyatt Earp in that movie.
Oh, bro.
If Doc Holliday wasn't in it, that movie would have been incredibly mid.
It would have been much less, but it would not have been mid.
If they would have got rid of the redhead, and if Wyatt Earp had abandoned his wife in an opium den to go do whatever he was doing, and he got his friends in trouble.
He was empowering her. You are empowered. It's a modern day woman. You're empowered to die in an opium den if you choose.
That's my whole gripe with that entire movie, is that I felt like he wasn't. I like having a main character that I can root for. It's fine if you have a couple little flaws, but he just left her for dead. He's running around with the redhead and everything. I'm like, come on,
yeah, man. She was an opium addict. What are you supposed to?
It's like, why don't you help her stop? Anyways, I digress. I know I think I'm one of 3 people that have seen that movie. Like, yeah, I agree with you. Most people are like, you're an idiot. It's the greatest movie ever made.
I put it in my top 10. No doubt. Anyway,
you're not alone. A lot of people. Isn't that Royce's favorite movie too? There's a handful of people in here that love it.
Yes, Boncher, you are exactly right. Turning her over to her sins. That's the attitude we're taking moving forward. You took that a very different way. The way I saw your face.
I had to think for a second. I'm like, again, second gear here.
It's been a long day, everybody.
It's been a long couple of weeks. All right.
Been a long life. Long 30 years.
An intervention. Yes, it's your wife. Help her out. Leave her there. All right.
It's your wife.
Yeah. And then he gets his buddies in trouble. Anyway, all right, so we're moving on. We're doing the Unquiet Grave next, correct? And then we'll come back and hit up, I don't know these people. They're 2 no names. Is it Alex? No. I thought it was Alex Georgilopoulos and Razorfest. I don't know who they are.
Papadopoulos? Yeah,
The comic looks cute, but we're gonna come back to that last, right?
Yeah. It's not important. It's not.
It doesn't look very good. I'm not, I've seen.
Frankly, I don't get why it's here.
So,
Also, real quick, here's Daniel's card and information.
oh yes,
yes. You'll find links to his website and all that nonsense in the description below. But I thought I'd share that here and now.
yes, and if you go to Daniel J. Snow's that QR code, it takes him. I believe this is a DeviantArt page of his. So he's got some artworks on there that it appears he's done himself, and there's some other short stories on there too. And the name that's listed under the QR code on that DeviantArt is Crusader Ape. So there's some information there. And I tried these QR codes. They do scan off the computer screen, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I did it with my phone earlier, boy.
Yeah. Mm.
That's not a preview for any story we have coming up here. Let's see.
Definitely not.
Absolutely not. All right. And now we have The Affair of the Unquiet Grave by Owen G. Tabard.
Yeah, this one, I will just say off the get-go of the stories we're covering tonight, this was probably the one I enjoyed the most. I thought the writing of it. My wife watches a lot of those like English, who's the author? Jane Austen, Emma type things, and Cranford, and where the people talk. And they have
like
certain,
Outlander, like kind of
not that one. The older ones though, like the older BBC.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But the way the words that they use and the way they talk, it feels very like you're being
the older style language and the older, more respectable times
where you're being
depicted,
transported, to that time period through the language. And I thought that Owen G. Tabard did an excellent job, much like the excellent job that Daniel Snow did as well with his story in regard of words like ramshackle and fun little words I don't hear regularly that hooked me. This one had them in droves. There's a lot of language in here that brought a smile to the edge of my lips many times. So the setting too, I love the setting.
This is verging on being the longest story.
Oh, really? Is it?
This first four as well.
It went by so fast, I didn't notice.
I'm not positive, but yeah, it starts off so run-of-the-mill, kind of ordinary for that style of story, and it goes off the rails pretty substantially based off of my expectations going in. I'll say that.
Yes, it didn't totally shock and surprise me, but it was still well done and entertaining the entire way through, even though I've seen some of these kind of twists and turns in stories of this sort before. But yeah, just location we're talking about. This is 1797 in London. And
good year.
It's a great year.
I mean, it's no 1776, but it will do.
The main dude, his name is Alistair Fitzaubrey. It's just like, all right.
Alistair Fitzaubrey.
Constable Penberth. Yes. And there's a vicar there, and he's basically, this dude is...
Spoilers. Bad things happen to people in this story.
It's true. By the way, that ghost, as far as ghosts go, hey, not bad.
I can change her.
I mean, if you're gonna get attacked by something, if there's an apparition coming your way, that's the one you'd be
At
like.
First you're like, and then you're like, and then you're like,
don't kill me.
Oh no, stop.
Yeah.
Oh no, guys, the ghost got me again.
So
I'm sorry.
No, you're good. I was looking, I was like, what do they say? I don't know. I'm not gonna say the word because I don't know if it's actually the word anymore. Yes, exactly, bad sauce.
Apparition, I asked. My curiosity now thoroughly piqued. Anyway.
So there's a vicar there, and the main dude is a guy that's brought in to kind of investigate whenever there's stuff going on that may have an air of supernatural element to it, particularly in this case involving the death of some people. So he's brought in to investigate, and there are connections.
Which is very of the time. It reminds you of like a Sherlock Holmes kind of thing. It's like we're going back to an older time, a more refined time in some... At least that's the perceived notion of it. And then there's also an element of the supernatural. But in this case, it is definitely actually supernatural, not just some fabrication by a clever individual.
Which, I mean, slightly spoilery, but I hate in shows whenever they set up something supernatural and you're like, yeah, and there's like these things, and then at the end they're like, oh
there's
no,
an explanation.
actually, just this happened, and she imagined that. I'm like, well, that's lame. That's,
anyway, she was dropping pills and misinterpreted all that.
That's
nonsense.
there's a game for PlayStation 3 called Heavy Rain that was like an interactive movie type game, and it did that. Where there's a serial killer and there's like weird supernatural elements, and then you get to the end and they just explain everything. And it's like, well, the whole thing was based in reality. Why even have the supernatural elements? But this one, I do enjoy. There is the supernatural stuff.
It's not a gotcha moment. There's an actual supernatural element, and it's I like it. I don't think it's my favorite story. I do like the setting. I do like the style. It brings me back to some books written about older times that I enjoy. And yeah, no, that's about the extent of my feelings about it.
Yeah, I liked it. Alistair, he comes in. We're talking about he's investigating a dead body, and the person that's yes. So there's a connection to the lord of the manor, who's a wealthy fellow, and the dead guy, and the relationship between them and that guy's daughter. And so there's a family thing going on, and it's just like, okay, so this guy does maybe have motive, does he not? We need to investigate. How did this ghost get here? That sort of stuff. And there's little things leading up to the events too, like dead animals nearby. And at first they start small, and they get bigger. And bigger.
And so, like, in my mind, I'm like, this could be a gotcha. Like, it could just be a serial killer kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, I kind of hope not. I hope not. Also, I don't know why you're mentioning it, Matt, but 13th Warrior is based, and I enjoy it. That's all.
Oh, yeah, that movie's all right.
Yes. All right as a start, Evaleigh.
Some of the words in here, though, that caught my ear that I really enjoyed. Ergotism. I had to look that one up.
I haven't heard that one in a minute. It's been a hot
minute. Yeah, it's like poisoning or something. But in the sentence, he says something like ergotism and such like. I appreciate words like such like or mayhaps or elsewise, that sort of thing.
On the morrow, yes.
Yes, there we go. That's the vibe. Actually, I threw on, I'm like reading this, and when I was reading, I was like, I need a soundtrack. So I'm flipping through, and I ended up throwing on a Orchestral Suite No. 3 by Bach. And then eventually I switched over to the harpsichord songs he did. I'm like, this is perfect. This is so good. And I actually don't know if it's historically in the time period of that. I don't know when Bach and those guys were around, but it felt right when I was reading it. So it really set the stage. And it was nighttime when I was reading.
Refined, just great. Like me. Adjust monocle, sips tea.
The other one in here was he was asking, he's like, oh, he talks about something being multifarious. I was like, that's great. It's not just nefarious, it's multifarious. Like, that's a great word.
Anyway, when you're reading it, you put on your soundtrack and just sitting there. Yes.
Ooh,
as it should be.
Yes, multifarious indeed.
Butler, bring tea and biscuits. Yes. The Duke of York is coming.
Where's my tea? Where's my tea? I don't know what British people talk about. Actually, never mind. I got a story about British people. I mean, I can tell you off stream. It was funny.
British
lady
people.
I used to work with. Was that?
I said, British people.
It's just with talking about words and their version of slang and all that. And meals in particular. So
getting pissed. Yeah.
All right.
I love the Australian.
I'll just throw it in here. I worked with an English lady. Yeah. And the first time she was in America, she went to KFC to get a meal, and she ordered, it was chicken and a biscuit. She was like, oh, wonderful. Opens up the bag, and there's chicken, and then there's a roll. Not a biscuit, but a roll. So she tells the person, like, this is a roll, not a biscuit. And lady's like, what are you talking about? That's a biscuit. She's like, no. Biscuits, they're sweet, they're thin, they have chocolate chips in them. She's like, oh, a cookie? She's like, a cookie, you Americans. What is cookie? A cookie, if anything, you bake them. It should be called a bakey. This is chicken and a roll. So she's like, I ate the roll, but I was upset that there wasn't dessert in there in the form of an actual proper British biscuit. So, cookie, bakey.
Cookie. Also, thank you. You always have my back, Boncher. That's what I love. That's what I love about you, my friend. Oh well, just always bringing in the compliments. Yeah, refined like vodka. Yeah.
Yes. Which I believe that just means water in Russian. I worked with some Russian guys too. I'll tell you about this story some other time.
Oh, I worked with Ukrainian guys, and I could tell you all about that too.
Mm.
They're just short Russians. Under ordinary circumstances.
Well, Russians
Anyway.
were fun guys, intense, but pretty fun to work with. So the story goes on, and like I said, I thought it was all good. It kept me entertained. You know, the twists and turns aren't so unpredictable that it was just like, what? It made sense, and it was enjoyable.
It was an enjoyable journey. No, like
Mm.
being able to predict what will happen does it in a good story will not take away your ability to enjoy it, or at least it shouldn't. If that is the kind of person you are, then you will not enjoy stories for very long in your life.
Yeah.
Because you will notice there are patterns, and once you
Mhm.
notice the patterns, it's very hard to avoid spoiling for yourself.
Yeah, that's something I'm starting to notice the more I read, and it is the kind of thing. It doesn't ruin it as long as they go in the direction I want it to. Whenever they take a
As
twist,
long
where
as
I'm like,
the
"Oh, no,"
author does exactly what I ask.
then I
It's
like
fine.
it. And as soon as they change their mind, it's terrible. It's the worst thing
Zero-
ever. It's the worst
0 out
movie.
of 10. Terrible. The worst thing that has happened to this country.
It's yeah. My thing is too. A lot of times when I talk about things that are like that, the movies and such, I'll talk about them like they're the worst movie I've ever seen, 0 out of 10. But they're usually like a 7. It's fine.
It's normal. Yeah.
Speaking of movies and such, I feel like all 3 of these stories they would make for awesome, like a TV episode, like a one-off, or if you fleshed them out a little bit more, would make for great movies too.
Yes.
I'm like, man, if this ever gets big enough, if there's ever the means to do productions, whether it be through advancements in technology or if people get small crews together, maybe the right story comes along where you don't have to have a sci-fi setting or you don't have to rent out a mansion in England or travel there to make something like this. It'd be really cool. But if these were, I mean, that'd be awesome to have like the narration, to read the stories, and then to have them in that format too would be great. You already got the art, so you have the concept art. It's just, yeah, I was
here. Let's do this. Let's play a game with these first 3 stories.
okay.
Now you have to pick for it to be adapted in one of 2 ways. Either a live action short version of it, like a short live action movie, or an animated version. Which do you think would be better for each of these first stories?
I think I don't know. I'm not like a huge animation person. I think any of them would work. The third one I think would probably be the least interesting as animation. I think that one would, if I had to pick one, I think that one would do really well as a live action. There's something about
I imagine the third one as either a live action or like a claymation, like stop motion kind of thing.
interesting.
I think it could be fun in that way as well. But...
See, I love like a good haunted house type movie. We watch a lot of scary movies, I guess, but yeah, just something about that atmosphere.
I don't get scared.
A lot of them are just stupid, but I just like
yes.
I like the houses in them. It's like the dust, and it's like you have the beam of light coming through, and like the speckles in the air.
If the son of the devil wasn't trying to strangle us in our sleep, this would be a lovely home.
There's just something, yeah, about that, like those settings that's kind of beautiful in its own way, and the history's there.
Kind of the tight and open spaces. I enjoy it as well. Yeah.
And I love to, with that story in particular, that it takes place back then. There's something about that time period that I think is really interesting because you have limited technology in terms of how to investigate things, and a lot of what we would see now is crude measures of like investigation too. So the limitations of that.
It's like you go back then. It's like, what are you doing, investigator? Guessing.
Exactly. Whereas now modern movies, a lot of times it's like, oh no, my cell phone doesn't work. I'm like, that's lame. Get a candle. Where they're like, where's my candle? And you only see like this far in front of your face. I'm like, oh,
wow, that was a terrifying sound we just heard. Anyway, I'm gonna go take a walk in the dark woods by myself with no working flashlight. I'll be back.
There's something about that I really enjoy, and to see this one as a live action, I think I'd be all over it. I'd be a big fan of it. I see what you're saying with the claymation aspect, but good ghost story and the right location to film it in, and the old timey clothes and the old timey speaking and all that. Love it. Right up my alley.
Haunting animation, you might be onto something. Haunting on Kahuna Hill.
They just shout woo at the ghost until the ghosts either get cool or decide to hang out.
It's haunting on Kahuna Hill, I think the ghost is shouting woo at you. Imagine you're just like in a quiet house and just like woo! out of nowhere, just
Sounds like a weird.
Well, I'll be
sitcom.
honest, it
It's
would
like
scare the piss out of me if someone
There's a-
just did that out of nowhere.
a boring family lives there, and the Kahuna ghost shows up and just wants them to party. And I finally like, leave us alone. We just want to sleep. It's like, no, get up. We got to do things. Woo!
They turn around.
They send in like a priest to do an exorcism. They close the door and they hear like loud noises and stuff. And then the priest comes out. He's like, "This dude's awesome. Like, I'm gonna start hanging out more. Like, this is cool. I'm gonna come back, bring my buddies."
He's just this ghost is just saying woo and quoting the Bible. He doesn't seem that bad.
Ooh, I like that. That's funny.
Jesus
Animation
wept.
Overlord.
Oh, that's a Bible verse anyway.
So I would say this one I'd want to see live action. I think if I had to pick one for animation, I'm torn between the first two. I'd probably go the first one for animation, I think. With the
It'd be
action
fun to
and
see it
such, I think.
stylized, plus the green fire would look really cool in animation. Like like almost do like a Castlevania style, like kind of hyper, like more anatomy, more words are hard, and anatomically correct kind of character models on like more Japanese styles. I think it would be a lot of fun.
I agree.
I love how that could just be our entire show. Yes, I also agree with you. And I agree with
Do you ever see Video Game High School? They have, it's like a news thing where they have the four heads, instead of fighting with each other like they do, it's like, no, I agree with you more. And he's like, no, I agree with you. And they are always agreeing. It's the agreement corner. I love that. That's
that show was fun back when.
Dude, that's one of my like favorite sitcom whatever shows ever. Third season, not perfect, but those first two, you can watch the whole thing in like 3 hours.
It was so much of the humor was based on memes, which was so ahead of its time. For those kind of shows, it was like,
oh man,
it's like anyway, I am the law.
Me and my brother still quote that show like I think it came out a decade or so ago, maybe even more. We quote it like at least once a week or send each other gifts of the law when he's cutting the bananas into his backpack, and love that show. And Teddy and his dad in the old arcade. Drugs are for losers, but you look like a loser, so maybe you should go do some drugs, loser.
That was right, yeah.
Fantastic.
It's like that is a weird reversal of that logic.
I love that show. All right. Anyways, so those are the 3 stories we are covering this week. I think, is there any other last thoughts? Did we showed the card for the final one?
No, I'm just about to.
Okay.
Don't get your kahunas in a twist.
I hear that's painful. So this is for ONG Tabard, the affair of the Unquiet Grave. I might have just wrote the Unquiet Grave on the card. I
feel like there is a bit of a spoiler in the name for those who haven't picked up on that yet.
Yes, playing words.
Just so a nice little ghost. Just come in and say hi.
I love this picture too. I pulled this off of his one of the websites that I think the QR code took us to, because I'm trying to find pictures of people for these things, and it was so hard with the exception of Razor Fist. It was either just like an icon
pictures
or
of
this
him
or
are
that.
everywhere. Luckily for the sake of this kind of thing.
Although I had a little bit of trouble finding one of George Alexopoulos. His was like a cartoon vector he had up on, I think it's Facebook or something. But this one I was like, it's, I usually get a little mad I can't find the actual person, because obviously part of this is, I know people are of different minds of like, we don't care about the person, whatever. But I don't know. Being able to see the person, put a human face to the story that's being told, I think there's value in that. And look at that.
I think so too.
Hey guys, read my stories. They're pretty good, right? He was in a book. It said in Whetstone. I don't know if that's a magazine or something else. Another one called the Samhain Sorceries. So you can see the book cover over there on the right. Awesome
sorceries.
Awesome book cover, that one. I really dig that one. It's got like an old school 80s vibe to it with the purples. It's a really cool cover.
Also, the mighty sons of Hercules.
Yes, which I believe has popped up on Comic Shop Wednesday at some point in the past. I recognize it.
Which is interesting that he went with the like American Disney version of the name instead of the older Greek version, which is technically Heracles, which always threw me off whenever I found that out.
Heracles.
Yeah. The U and the C are in different spots.
All I can think is the scene, Hercules doesn't hit quite the same. You go, Heracles doesn't.
I would love for someone to have come in right when we were doing that. No explanation.
Are they talking about Nutty? Was that one Nutty Professor? Is that what it was?
It was one of the movies where Eddie Murphy is everybody. So yes.
What
I
if they
believe
pop
so.
in? They're like, "Yo, I love that movie. Is that what they're talking about?" And then it's not. And they're like, "I'm out of here. I'm leaving." It's lame.
We're not talking about Eddie Murphy movies at all. Leaves. I love it, man. It's good.
Yes. So that is ONG Tabard. Well done, sir. The first three, that was my favorite. I enjoyed all the stories, but yeah, I like
Tremendous. Big,
Tremendous.
beautiful.
On this the day of my daughter's wedding, you're writing ghost stories.
Italian.
I don't know, man. That's where we're at. Oh, Christ.
that one. Oh, fantastic. Oh, now I got the code here. We should have done this earlier from Richard. All right. So we're moving on to the not
Ghost
the
of the Bathlands.
crown jewel, but I think something that certainly probably brought some people on board early on. Obviously, both George Alexopoulos and Razor Fist, massive personalities, big followings online, and coming together to do this story. I think,
And it
drew a
came
lot of
together
attention.
very last minute as well. It was a great boon to the magazine as a whole to have someone of the size and persuasion of Razor Fist agree to give a preview of a very anticipated comic within the bounds of the magazine.
It's awesome. Yeah, and George's art in this is, I mean, his art is always stellar, and this is the best art. At least I personally enjoy this art the most. I guess I can't say it's his best, but it's the favorite of the artworks I've seen of his, because there's a lot of the crazy memes with the people with the super expressive, and they're awesome. They're very colorful. And this one, just with the textures and the, I hate to call them particle effects, but it reminds me of. I mean, like all the flakes, all the
flex. The best of flex.
All the flex. Got lines around the moon. Tons of lines. Great lines. Big moon. Stand in front of it.
All right. So, our idea here was to have us both read this story aloud. I have some music on standby. Little background music, nothing big. And it should be just fine. So, let's see. I'll be page 1. Then I'll have to bring up page 2. I'll start with the explanation, then you can do the voices of all the roughnecks.
Okay. Are you going to do the ghost then?
If you're going to do, like, one of us should do the ghost, and whoever's not doing the ghost should do the roughnecks. So I'll leave that up to you. What do you prefer?
I'd rather do the roughnecks. I don't know how the ghost is supposed to sound, so I'd rather leave you in the hot seat. You all want the voice acting chops here.
I'll feel it out in the moment. I've thought about this actually too. I can't figure it out. I'm normally really good at figuring these things out, but not this time.
Yeah, I'm not sure how he's supposed to sound. Not that I'm great with those kind of Western accents, but let's see. All right.
Sorry, hold on. Daddy Ultimate Kahuna is in story time. I love you, Mom.
I saw the ghost. I was done.
Daddy, is it story time?
All right, let me turn on this music and I'll see if it's too loud, and then we'll start.
Ooh. It was Nutty Professor. I got it.
Shut up, you're throwing me off. Anyway.
Just, making sure that there's what they call it, vamping, where you just fill the space while we're waiting for the Western music to slowly roll in like a tumbleweed on a cool desert night. Passing through. Is there supposed to be music right now? Because I don't hear any.
Oh, you don't hear it?
No, I don't. That's why I'm talking about Nutty Professor and tumbleweeds on cool desert nights. I sure don't. All I hear is an echoey Kahuna.
Huh. How does that work?
You should
Richard
be able to hear
Bob.
this.
More than the fire, shared by the like button. If you just want to make Western sounding music with your mouth while I read, we could do that. That'd be fine.
Hold on. I have an idea. I might be able to do this.
Okay, I'll wait until you have the idea.
Huh. Okay, that's not going to work.
Oh, man, that's a bummer to hear that.
What are you talking about, Burr Bubba?
I'm just trying to sound like you with a fancy soundboard. That kind of sounds a little bit like Sam Elliott, doesn't it? A little bit like
Sam Elliott, yeah.
Kind of a little bit like when he talks.
I like the movie Roadhouse back when he's still sexy. You know what I'm saying?
I haven't seen that in forever.
It's a great
I
movie.
thought Kahuna
Hey,
leaves his voice away for life.
Evaleigh, story time. Talk about your favorite Western and why. I'm going to look up some good music here.
Oh, my favorite Western. I need to see more of them. Josie Wales, I feel like is hard to top.
It's very good, dude. It's so
it's
solid.
ridiculous. It's yeah, just some of the dialogue in it between the characters that are making fun of each other based on some of their differences, but at the end they end up getting along. I appreciate it. And whenever he shoots somebody, he just like spits that big thing at Shaw on him, including the dog. He spit on the dog. I was like, why you gotta spit on the dog?
He spit on everyone.
He was just spitting on everybody. He gets on that Gatling gun, just my name is Sam Evaleigh. So Josie Wales is up there.
Hey, can you hear this?
Yeah, it sounds like a commercial or something.
It is a commercial. That's
Are you listening to the radio?
No, I have YouTube on my phone, and it connects to Bluetooth to my soundboard, which is why it can hear it. Why you can't hear it from here on the PC makes no sense. But here we are. I saw. Oh, IronAge.media says I saw that there was a new Roadhouse, and I'm trying to make sure I never learn anything else about. I already know more than I wanted to know.
Roadhouse. Yeah, I heard it was terrible. I think I watched a Drinker's video on it or something just to make sure that it was as bad as I assumed it would be. Roadhouse.
Well, like the first one is so I have no. There's no better way. It's sexy. It's just good. I don't know what it is, man. It's a weird. It's a weird thing to say, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's a movie built for the female gaze, and it's there.
They don't make jeans like that anymore, do they?
Oh, I make my own anyway.
Magnificent Seven. I thought Magnificent Seven was fine. I didn't love it.
Old one.
I thought it was okay though. Oh, surely the old one here. Surely.
Never double dip the chip. Double dip the like button. Never change it. There you go, AC. Thank you, brother.
Double dip the chip. Double dip the like button. Chip.
I was going to say something very inappropriate a second ago. I'm glad it stopped.
That's good that you caught yourself. Usually, you just let it roll and.
I was letting the intrusive thoughts win. We need to.
We've already talked about dumps and whatever else. Pinching things.
Are you saying that Roadhouse is not a sexy movie? Oh my goodness! I don't know how we got here. Anyway,
we were just vamping. We're filling space while you're looking for sweet Western music.
I think I got it. Let's try this out.
Well, thanks, Richard. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, hit that like button.
I guess. Yeah.
Pull out your 6-shooter and let that like button have it 6 times. Unless 6 times makes it unlike, then do 7 or 5.
How's the volume on?
Oh, now I can hear it. I think it sounds pretty good.
I remember the time I saw the ghost. I was dying.
That's unfortunate.
Yes, very sad. Wait, why? Why did it play the same one? There we go. We're professionals.
With that technical difficulty screen to pop up.
I know, every 4 seconds. Folk been talking about a black figure dealing death with some sort of old mechanical iron since I first started roaming these parts.
Jesus, Mary, and Joseph. The ghost, he's...
Then entered Satan... Wait, I gotta do this right. Then entered Satan unto Judas, surnamed Iscariot, being of the number of the 12. Ooh, this music is hitting it right now. This is good.
Ah! I like that better.
And I've roamed aplenty.
Oh, perfect timing with that guitar kicking in there too. It was actually 3 strums for the 3 dudes, dude. That was perfect. Oh wait, there's 4 guys.
It's
Never
like
mind.
we
Never
planned
mind.
it
We
out
need
this
4.
way.
Miscounted. Maybe you got 2 with 1 shot. Bow, bow, bow.
This music is working, honestly.
Yeah, dude, it's good. This is what you gotta have. I feel like when you read, you gotta have the right soundtrack to set the mood.
Really do. Also, I need to have these all preloaded so they're actually ready to go.
We're building suspense. It's fine. Yeah, there you go. Oh! No!
Oh, Jesus!
Ah, my big toe! Just my big toe, nothing else! Ah!
Fern-flipping fruit sickles!
Oh yeah, the art is awesome. It looks so good.
Also,
And,
art by George Alexopoulos? I can say that word.
Yes. It's one of those.
Oh, good. Commercials, thank you.
The
That's all I
framing of
want.
the shots is awesome too. I've read a couple of books where I've gotten confused sometimes with like, wait, what exactly is happening? I have to go back and really look at the frame to process it. And this one, I feel like it's like, okay, that's exactly where the camera should be to show me exactly what I need to see for that scene, to have the right tone and all that, and also tell me what's happening with the story. And he's just so good with the facial expressions too.
All right, you're up, homeboy.
All right. His ammo can't last forever. Come on, shoot!
Not bad.
Keep firing, you limber-legged suckers!
Very good censorship. Very good.
Thank you. I'm trying to keep it, PG-14.
I almost made another bad joke. Anyway. I have problems, that's what I'm saying.
Should I go with your TV edit? Should we do truck, duck, heck? Should we do heck? Let's go heck.
Heckin'. Yeah.
What? We'll go heckin'. I can do that for you.
Okay. I don't actually have the picture of this page, so better just read it, brother.
Well, that's a shame. All right. 2 guys are talking to each other. They're looking very distressed. He says, "Where the flying heckin' is Galileo with them shotguns?"
Be thou ever vigilant, for the devil prowls like a roaring lion, seeking whom he may devour. Some as choose death, instead of getting life abundant. And some as deserve life. Some reminiscing.
He was dying.
Suffer the little children, and forbid them not to come to me.
So
For
he blessed
theirs is the kingdom of heaven.
So there you go.
That's
Again.
all she wrote.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry,
So
that
good-
was a little rough, guys. We're trying to put this together in the last minute.
It's the first time we've ever streamed, either one of us ever. So there's gonna be snags.
Yeah, we've never done this before. I'm
I don't even
playing a commercial actively on my own stream.
Mm.
There we go.
Ah, yes.
If you guys
Oh,
want some
God, you
rootin'
guys
and
are making
tootin' kind of
light
cowboy, real cowboy audiobook, look up some of my live readings. I actually did do a decent cowboy story on one
Hey,
of
we're
those.
getting some good jobs. So hey, You did fine.
Also, IronAge.media. I'm proud of you guys for not making lion noises. Just, I suppose from this crew, this is the best we can expect.
Missed opportunity, I think.
Like a roaring lion.
Pow! You know how guns sound. I forget what model that is. That pa pa
Pow!
sound like a crow. Yeah.
Pew, pew.
So this one, not tons of dialogue, but man, heckin'.
Honestly, the
Tons of
writing is minimalistic and it's very good, and then
Yeah.
the art speaks for itself. That's how a comic is a visual medium. It should the art. There should be entire portions where there is no dialogue in a proper comic, in my opinion. Not like some very highly acclaimed comics in mainstream media that are very mediocre when you get down right to the brass tacks of it. I'm looking at you, The Dark Knight Returns. Freaking pages filled with tiny art pieces you can't even see, filled to the gills with dialogue. I don't care if it's the best dialogue ever written, which it's not. It's a visual medium, and you're writing a novel. There's no reason for it. And this little preview of this comic already illustrates enough to make me excited for when the real thing comes out, which Evaleigh, you and I are both grabbing. We already grabbed that, obviously, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Animation overload says. I could do that one too. Yes. The dos cajones.
Hola, señor, them dos cajonas. Yes. Hola, inglés.
Ayos mia. Es fuego.
Or you gotta go like that. You gotta go like the
Fuego
sexy
hombres?
Spaniard route. Yes, mio.
Quite.
Not bad at all.
Was that from Roadhouse? It was so sexy. It might have been Roadhouse. I heard that. No?
It is sexy, therefore, by definition, it is a part of the original Roadhouse. Oh, Maji, I cannot believe you. Love it.
Yeah, no, it's looking awesome. Oh, the gunfighting in it, the way he captures the scenes, it's really good stuff. The action, at least. It's, super intense. I mean, dudes are getting blown away. It's pretty gory. Some headshots and things, and this guy's just like laying waste to all these bad guys who clearly set fire to that wagon. Not the
Actually, I
wagon.
think that wagon shot is a flashback. I think that the guy who got shot made a lot of poor decisions earlier in his life that led him to this moment. I think he is a sinner, and he's going to be offered a second chance by the ghost of the Badlands.
Yes, here comes Dueling Banjos. I don't think is Western-y, but right.
Just a reason. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that, but
yeah, I'm with you though. I'm very excited about it, and it did incredibly well. The campaign for it, I think, did even better than Razor and George were expecting, which is awesome.
Oh yeah, like I love George's little art depicting like their stretch goals, and they hit a lot of them. It's like I think the only one they didn't hit was $1 million because they cut it off at some point, and it's just like them looking up like this, like. Also,
yeah, it's fantastic.
Quick,
so well done.
Maji has never watched Roadhouse. In other words, all women lie. Women are liars, and this is proof. Also, Maji, you gotta watch Roadhouse, man. You don't live that far away. I might grab it and come over. It'll be like we'll watch Roadhouse, and you'll learn what sexy really looks like. That sounds wrong. Now we're moving on from that. So, I'm gonna get canceled. I'm speed running, getting canceled on social media. Oh man.
Banjos are very Western. I agree they can have that flair, but Dueling Banjos is more of a like, hey, I guess it's kind of Western. Hey, y'all can come over and play some banjo.
I liked it better when you didn't say anything. Dueling Banjos is kind of more like,
you can spit in my spittoon. It's brand new. I'll share.
I thought you were going to say something very different than that.
Maybe we'll just start with that and see where the night goes. I don't know.
You can spit in my drink whenever you like.
Whatever you want.
Man, you should look at our family tree. It looks like a freaking palm tree going straight down. That's all I like. Oh, bro. So who here has
Gross
purchased
indeed.
and or read Anvil #1? Just out of curiosity. Well, I'm sure there's a way to create a poll, but I'm just not sure how.
It's the first day on the web. It's hard to know these things.
I've never been on the internet before.
Me neither. Can you still? I gotta check too. The first issue came with. Did you get all this cool stuff? All the
I
posters.
did. I have it framed, not here at home, but I have
Somebody's got to be the culture. Might as well be us.
I know. I got that new. I got that new big full size poster too.
I'd watch us. I do watch us
Oh,
sometimes.
Yeah. That
Nice,
it's not my
nice.
favorite one. I think the soldier is my the warrior is my favorite from the OG group. Even though my buddy Skunks did the art for the mech. The mech, like, this is Skunks. He did this. Look at the detail. Look at it, like, look, the little person sitting on the leg of the mech, if you can see it. Like, you could, like, that, just that little box right there is high quality enough to be a screensaver because it's his. It's fantastic.
I like the frame on it too. They're all cool. I like them for different reasons. It's good variety again, just like the book itself. Oh, it's all good, but there's also variety in there to tickle your fancy, whatever you're into. A little bit of something for everybody.
Stop threatening to tickle the audience. Son, we have to have a word.
Oh, he says, make me a mod and he'll do it.
Oh, you know,
Oh,
that's
sweat.
the funny thing. I don't know how. I'm sure there's a way. I probably have to go to YouTube and do it. But holy smokes!
Oh, cool. He's got a shirt with that design on his site. That's awesome.
It's fantastic, man.
I need
Yeah.
to take over. Yeah.
So, Richard, while we have you here as an audience member,
Ooh.
just between us,
Any secrets you want to divulge about the
Upcoming release for Anvil magazine #4 or 3. You know, just whatever. Any secrets you have in general. I'm sure
Okay.
that people would love to hear it.
He said if you click on the 3 little buttons in the YouTube chat, you can select give ultimate power. Oh, I love it. If there is a button that does it, just smash it. Smash that
it says
ultimate
delete
power button.
comic or ban user. I'm trying to figure out which one.
Delete comic. Well, that'll get rid of me.
That's true. That's true. Insult insulin my band Kujos. What?
Quit insulin my managers. Oh?
Okay,
I have
you
the
on
power.
YouTube.
I don't know what quote that's from. Picturing Arnold. I have the power.
Yeah.
Running behind in the
All right,
campaign,
there
but I
we
will
go.
give you some news. Ooh, a tasty little crumb, a morsel. Nice little
Add
flake.
as moderator. There we go.
Hey, progress.
You can F it. You can do whatever you like. Yeah, there you go.
But
And Mozzie, you're here often enough. I trust you. Just don't create a system to shoot pinballs at me. I'll be fine. There we go.
Pinballs?
Ladies and gentlemen, on the Iron Age, never mind, Mr. Iron Age and Maji are now moderators for the Ultimate Kahuna. Yes.
Yes. Quite.
Yes.
A vital. Vital? Oh, vittle. Good word. I thought that
What's
was
a vittle?
VITT. I think is it TTLE? Vittle? It's like a little piece, a little something.
Like the
It's
world's
like a crumb or
tiniest-
more.
Like
It's
the world's tiniest violin.
Vittles. It's like that, yeah. If foods was a violin, the size of the violin in this instance would be a vittles.
Oh, it's a Vidal one. Yes, a Vidal
Yeah,
one.
vittles. Oh, that's what it is. It's just
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Guten Schlagen.
No, thank you. I already ate.
I have the power.
Oh, okay, you know the reference. I was picturing Arnold. Where's my power? I can't find it. Oh wait, no, that's it. I have the. Oh, I gotta check Gilded. Sorry, we're just having fun over here. Richard's like, oh my god, who do I associate with? These people.
What have I signed up for?
Oh, there's something here. Okay,
Oh,
so I found some stuff.
what did you find?
Am I just supposed to read through this? I don't want to speak out of what's the term? Speak out of
Turn?
business?
Something.
Something.
What are you reading?
Speak out of something. He sent me words that I can read.
Oh, okay.
you're
If he
supposed
sent
to.
them to you, I assume read them exactly how he says them, unless it's just swearing up and down.
It's mostly just profanity, just nuts. Read words. That sounds complicated. I don't know. All right. So it says IronAge.media, 10:38 p.m. That's a start. It's the first one. All right. So we got The Coldest War, Blaine Lee Pardo. Night
Mr. Blaine Lee Pardo.
Titles and
Of
authors.
Battletech Persuasion. And now his own series, which he already has 9 or more books out in. Insane.
Yes.
The man's
Awesome.
an animal. You need to read his stuff.
Fantastic. And he was just on the first episode. Speaking of Razorfist doing awesome things, in addition to being an Anvil, he has the
I'm
new
gonna
show,
find that, actually. Yeah.
Iron Age Attacks, which he just started. So he's done 2 episodes of that. I believe last night was, or 2 nights ago. I've lost track of time being sick. Russ Leach. And the first episode, the inaugural one, the ship launching, was indeed Blaine Lee Pardo, if I remember correctly.
Mr. Blaine Pardo,
Mhm.
or as the episode proclaims him, the uncancelable Blaine Pardo. Yes, because the man is based. He's not even he never went out of his way to do anything wrong. He was their best writer when they got rid of him, and they've never recovered in terms of their novels since, which is really a shame because there was a lot of really cool stuff coming down the pipeline there.
Blaine, oh yeah, it's from Land and Sea, FYI.
Land and Sea, there you go. Yeah, that's his not BattleTech. That's his mech style stuff.
He just sent me one more at the end of this list, which is the name of it is just great. All right, so second one on here is Night of Cold Hunger, chapter 1 through 5.
1 through 5.
1 through
They
5.
better be short chapters, man.
I said I knew you'd like it. Am I that predictable? Yes.
We giggle at dumb jokes.
I know. You got to have fun, man. If you're not having fun, what's the point, right?
Absolutely.
Night of Cold Hunger, chapter 1 through 5, and the author's listed as MFR. Or
M.
I'm saying that right.
F.
R.
Oh, I thought you were going to go, R.
That's a good one. Paladin Dragoon stuff, I believe. Oh yeah, I've read some of his stuff on my channel
sick.
as well. The guy's he's a really cool dude. I've
Yeah.
talked a few times. Yeah,
Super friendly dude. Yeah, I like that. Like
he has a cigar smoking, demon hunting paladin who rides a dragon. What more do you need?
I don't know. Maybe some vittles.
Are you not entertained?
That's pretty sweet. Yeah. Good dude. Yeah, it makes me chuckle. Sweet. I know, right? I saw that too. I didn't want to say it, but I was thinking it. Just know that I was thinking it. I just didn't want to be disrespectful in case it was like, no, MFR. Oh, he's like a very
MFR.
serious fellow, and now he quit because you said his name. Dragon Head's a
That's true. That's true. I have seen it.
Next time, I'm thinking about that old Cypress Hill song. Oh, hit from the bong. Now I'm gonna picture the Puff of the Magic Dragon, not in the bag, but his other stuff.
Also, I'm gonna toss something out here.
Ooh.
Since we're all here and we're all having a good
it.
time, you guys can ask me any one question, and it can be any question. I will answer it truthfully. I will not, if it's inappropriate, I will not show it, but I will answer it. So, any question you like. Evaleigh Music, I'm not going to subject you to that same punishment, but for myself, I'm happy to toss that out there.
Okay.
But guys, truth be told, like I'm one of the Richard, what do you call those people who bought like the yearly subscription? The best. I'm one of those. I'm of that tier for Anvil magazine. I'm very excited.
So, Forge Master,
an entire year.
I meant to get a Forge Master, and I don't know if I did or not.
It was it is a bit of money, but it's going to save money in the long term, and I had the free flowing cash at that moment.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if there was another one and there was like the window closed for it, and I got in late, or if the one I got is the Forge Master. I want the one that he has to hit. I want him to hit mine with a hammer, even if he doesn't have the little thing that leaves a mark. I just want to take mine.
That's true.
Hit it with a hammer, just throw it up in the air and whack it, and I'll know it's mine. Big crease in the front. I don't need that little.
Maji-chan asked the ultimate question. Are you wearing pants? I'm going to answer this simply and correctly, but you won't understand how. No, I am not. Moving on.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes. No.
That's how we answer.
Yes. It's one of
Andrew
those.
Campbell asked question.
Where did you get your ideas from?
I'm going to ask it as Andrew would.
You seriously asking me why? Come on, Norm. Why is
I've
he
got
just
a
asking me that?
question. Where do you get your ideas from?
Oh, sick.
Andrew, are you referring to for videos or for writing for my crazy dumb antics?
He may just be
Evaleigh's
referencing.
bad movie takes. What are you asking about?
Oh, how dare you. He might just be referencing Norm Macdonald and
Oh,
what's his
yeah.
Adam Egget and with not Danger. It's the Danger guy.
Oh,
I can
Ronnie
see-
Dangerfield. Yeah.
It's not Dangerfield. It was Super Dave. Super Dave.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Why would he ask me that question? It might be that, or he might be genuine. I can.
Oh, yeah. Yep. Nope. You're an ironsmith, but I'll get you a stamp.
Oh, so I was
for
wrong.
the
Right,
next
it was the
issue,
wrong one.
if you remind me. He's gonna stamp you if you ask him nicely.
Just smack it with a hammer. Just throw it up in the air and just smack it, and I'll feel like
Can we just brand people, Richard? We have the technology. What's so wrong? What's so wrong?
if you pay enough, Richard will come to your house and
He will
brand
come to
you.
your house with a red hot iron,
New
and
tier unlocked
skull
here
your-
tonight.
skull your ass. Never mind. Like
I don't think
cattle, it's like pant leg
legally-
down. Let's go.
I don't think it's a bad movie. I just don't like Wyatt Earp's character. I don't like how he did his. He just like abandoned his wife and went around running out that redhead who I also did not care for, and then he gets his friends in trouble. That's why. Doc Holliday was a cool character though. It wasn't terrible. I just think it's people.
Oh,
wrote
Bad
it.
Sauce, you misheard.
It was bad. It was
I
like-
have taste. Tombstone is a tremendous movie,
yeah, everybody.
and in my top 10 for all time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the real question is it my favorite Western? That's really hard, actually.
We still have several stories on this list, by the way. I know we're getting a little sidetracked here, but I
Okay,
want to make
yeah,
sure that
yeah,
we
yeah.
get through.
Yeah,
Through
go for
these.
it, go for it.
Yeah. So next up, I know that's the flavor of this show is that we introduce something and then we run away for a while. But the next story on this list, and then we come back to our original point, and then we cover it then. So it's called, but now we're talking about Tombstone again. And all right, it's
all
called
about Tombstone.
the Tech Bubble Bursts by Sean McKendrick. I don't have your buttons, but I can pretend. So Sean McKendrick, the Tech Bubble
Hey,
Burst.
Sean McKendrick, laddie. Let me tell you about the love of the Irish. He drinks whiskey before he writes all of his stories. It could be true. You don't know.
Maybe, it might be. Oh yeah,
Sure,
the
sure.
Tech Bubble Bursts. Next story is called Homefront, and that is by, I believe it's either Jaime or Jamie.
Oh.
I'm gonna go Jamie Faye Torkelson. I don't think it's a question mark
Torkelson.
down the name though. Jamie Faye Torkelson. Apologies if it's actually Jaime Faye Torkelson or Torkelson. Looks like Jamie Faye Torkelson though. I'm gonna go with that one.
Torkelson.
Next up, Steel Story by none other than Joshua M. Gonzalez. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum.
Success.
Nice, nice. Followed by Black Box by Sean C.W. Korsgaard.
Yo, player, we got a black box up in here. Let me tell you what.
I like this where I read the title and then you have to quickly come up with a quip about it. This is fun.
That's all
All
that
right.
got me.
That's good. Yeah, just hit the voice changer and just say something. It's good every time. It's like pizza. It's good every time. All right. Next up, we have The Dreaded Song of Clow by Jason Larimore.
This is the Song of Clow? Yes. Play it, big boy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, some people say it's dreaded, but, there's one fan out there, apparently. Doesn't find it dreaded. Just enjoys it. Play that song.
That's true. That's true.
Next up, Throat Swallowed Down by Andrew Cosma.
I don't think I have an appropriate thing to say about this one. Moving on.
You'll like the song. Oh, Steel Story is my shorter version, FYI. You'll like the Song of Clow, I think. All right. Jamie also wrote Afflicted in issue 2. Oh, nice. Okay, cool. So another recurring writer. Good
Afflicted.
stuff. Talented pool of writers. Good to see.
I like
Next up, we have Market of the Double Cowl by Heather Santo.
And the Lord said unto them, Thou shalt not make a golden idol.
That's all I got.
How do you wait from Market of the Double Cow? I'm not connecting the dots.
The golden calf. Yeah.
Oh, Cal.
Mo-
All right. It's
But you know when
CAUL.
Moses went to get instruction from God, and they
Oh, yes.
and in 3 days they're like, you know what, we need a new God. You know those people? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. This is CAUL, which is another word I'm unfamiliar with. The double cow. Not a single cow, not a triple, not a half cow. The double cow. Look that one up. And the last one. We can do a fake drum beat or drum roll here. Oh, there you go. Beautiful. The last one is called Big Big Man-Eater Owl. One more. I'll say it again. Big Man-Eater Owl, and that is by Garrick Cook.
Big man-eater owl.
Big Man-Eater cow. Not a little one, not a medium size.
It's a big man-eater owl.
Anyway,
Gosh.
that is uncomfortable. Now,
Is it?
real quick, since it was asked so long ago, I will answer this. By Pritchard Pub, it probably means it's Katie asking. Serious question. The actual first things you would to do if or when society comes to an end. Insert zombie apocalypse.
Doomsday scenario here.
Well, and this is for both of us, if you want to answer. Me,
Please do.
I would
Society comes to an end.
consensually grab my children from my ex-wife. Definitely not in a wrong way. And I would take my family and we would go either to Hawaii or to the mountains, and that's it. That's the first thing. I would load up on the way out at a couple places I know that have force multipliers, and I would take any and all of my toys and tools that I think would be helpful.
Trying to think if society ends. I'd grab my laptop, my PlayStation, and my copy of ANVIL magazine, and I'd be all set.
When the nights grow dark, we'll need stories.
Yeah, I figure, and then the rest of the time, PlayStation's very high in protein, better than peanut butter. A lot of people don't know this. Yeah, you melt those things down, you can just drink the plastic, and yeah, tons of protein in there. Keep you going.
I've been doing it since I was a child.
Yeah,
Plus,
I
it's
mean,
a Sony product, so it's probably better melted anyway.
Hey,
Hey, you can't
I have
say
no
that.
idea. I would, yeah. I don't know. I don't know. No idea. I would maybe go to Denny's, wear a hat. Yeah, you do whatever you want.
I would.
Conquer.
No, I don't know. I don't think I. That's not true. I do have it in me. That's true. Anyway, moving on from that. Let's see.
Yep. Anything else big or major that you're wanting to delve into?
Just answer any questions that were left.
Okay.
Oh yeah, animation overload. What
Oh, nice.
genre is the story you're working on? I have quite a few stories. One of them is a sci-fi comedic story. It's just going to be a meme-filled monstrosity. It's after imagine the end of imagine after nuclear war, America's bad. Everything down south is too hot to live in, so everybody goes up north. All the Americans migrate north to Canada. They meet all of the Indian people there, like from India, and because they're of similar skin tone, they assume they're Mexican, and they start calling it El Canada. And so there's that. And then I have a few fantasy series that I'm working in. So yeah, there's that.
Oh, to answer the question that just popped up, it says, are we going to cover or going to review issue number 2 next week? That was actually one of the first 4 stories of this one. So instead of doing the entire issue, to me, I'm like breaking it up makes a little bit more sense.
We could do it in
Ideally,
portions.
if I was able to commit the time, I would be awesome to do one story per week and do more of like a short form. You know, you get the magazine, you don't have to read the whole thing. You read one story, we come back, and it's sort of like a mini book club on a weekly-ish basis would be awesome. It's just hard to commit the time, especially we have a 3-hour time difference between us that makes it kind of tricky. And then lives are just busy and complicated with work.
Your whiffs business kind of stuff you're going on. I
Yeah.
have kids and my own work, and plus
Yeah,
I already
it's
have like 2 or 3 shows that I'm already kind of I already work on fairly regularly too. So with the show that Evaleigh and I do, where we go over comics and or Anvil magazine, it's when we have the time. And
Yeah.
in a perfect world, we would do this like I'd say once a week,
Yeah.
or like in a perfect world, I would say cover one story from the magazine each week, and then cover another comic every 2 weeks. In a perfect world, I think that's how it would work. And hello, Mr. John A. Douglas. Just got back. Good to see this.
Just
You
got
don't
back?
know you don't know how scuffed this entire stream has been, John. So careful
Run.
careful before you speak.
Night, Richard. Thanks for oh wait, that's right. I was reading my own comment in the chat. That's Evaleigh says oh yeah, he says appreciates it. Yeah.
And simply a comment or nothing else. Evaleigh Music says.
All
right.
So yeah, it would be cool to do it more often, but it is tough. I'd like to get to issue number 2 because if you think about the stories in this, how many stories are there total? I can't remember offhand. Is there 11?
Enough.
Enough.
You can read the names right here on the front.
1,
That'll tell you.
2,
So
3,
3,
4,
4,
5,
5,
6,
6, 7. Yeah, 7.
9, 7, and then some reviews. So if you did this once a week, it would just about carry you into the next issue that would come out if you did one a week.
Yeah.
To me, that's, I don't know. The episodes would certainly be shorter. I guess that's the other thing too. I mean, part of it is what do people want? I mean, if people would be
Do you
tuning
guys
in for
prefer
one a
in
week
a
and
live
that's
stream
cool.
kind of function like this? Or would you guys prefer just a simple video of us discussing without the distraction of the chat? Or, just, share your opinions and I'll pretend to care.
I guess I'm curious too. Is it better to do like one issue per episode and do that, or really dive into one story at a time, really dive into one author at a time, and that sort of thing? I thought that format would be interesting, and then maybe you could even get some of the authors on themselves to give inside information. But I don't know if it's better to be a little bit surface level, so it's not as spoilery. I don't know. It's one of those things we're kind of playing around with different ideas.
And I'm being invited to others. I'm very popular. No, I'm being invited to other shows
People
to
love the
join and or try to start all the time. And I love the idea of it, but I'm not an efficient or organized enough person to be able to do it all right now. Maybe someday when things are a bit different, maybe if I don't have to work my job as often as I do, or if things change, I'll be able to commit more time to my creative works. But as it stands right now, every video I edit is still done on my phone. I don't know how. I'm only just now figuring out how to record something with my PC equipment and transfer it effectively. It's a bit of a mess, man. But I don't know if he's still here, but I want to shout out Richard.
He
from
just
Iron
left.
Age. Well, I'm gonna even better. I don't have to pretend to. I don't have to compliment him to his face like some sort of simp. Anyway, but let's talk about Richard from IronAge.media. Well over a year ago, Razorfist puts out one video and then a second video talking about the Iron Age of media. And I think the second one that is more of a call to action is called The Iron Age Cometh. And he's basically called everybody out. It's like everybody is out here shouting down and talking about how garbage the mainstream media is. Well, what's the point of that if there's nothing to replace it when the castle wall comes tumbling down? We have to become the culture. We have to change it. We have to become the thing that we have come to despise in recent years. And Richard heard that and said, "All right, I'm going to start a website." He did it. IronAge.media. It's an excellent website full of articles. It's updated on the regular. And then, ambitious beyond anything I would have ever attempted. I'll be honest. Way more ambitious than me. He said, I'm going to make a quarterly magazine, and I'm going to sell it. And I have never done anything even close to this before, and I'm going to do it. He stuck to his timeline. He got people involved. He got all the right people to help him out and figure it out. He found a printer that wasn't going to screw him over every other time he went to them. And he freaking did it, dude. He is building a brand. He's building a place for us to join. Kind of like what Royce has done with the Drink with Crazy channel, where most of us met. It's a wonderful thing to see, and I want to honor Richard and him and everybody else involved in getting this magazine to us. It's a tremendous amount of work, and they are deserving of, at the very least, appreciation. And for me, my money.
I don't have the mindset too. I don't think this is just like, oh, they're doing a magazine, that's neat. I think that there's immense value and, like you were saying, potential in terms of like branching out brand wise with this idea and having everything kind of, this is like the hub, sort of like A Drink with Crazy is the hub for a lot of the creators as well, especially as Gilded, for people to meet and talk. That's a great place for that, for getting the ideas hashed out. Once they're done, this is a great place to bring it all together. And it's again, you can, all the different creators can get something, contribute here, writing all that stuff. And then we can go back out. My brain's running out of gas. I think Anvil has a lot of potential to be a hub, is the best way I can say it. A place for all of us to unify and go onward. I think it's important to keep it going and to keep kindling the fire. I mean, they had Blaney Pardoe, Razorfist, George Alexopoulos, a ton of our own creators. There's a lot of big names that have already contributed. So it's clear that
Daniel P. Riley is one of the two main editors for it.
The team behind it, Jacob Calta too, helping out with this. There's a ton of talent. The quality of the book is amazing, I think. But my point was that there are bigger people that see the potential here as well. I don't think they're just dropping by or just doing this because like, oh, cool, it's a magazine, whatever. I think they're like, there might be something bigger here. And I'm seeing that as well. So hopefully these little streams help to bring some more light to that as well in our silly little way.
and not to downplay any of our own contributions too. Actually, real quick before I go on to that, there's it also provides a place, or it provides a motivation for those who have the creative instinct but haven't necessarily taken it anywhere. This is a place, like, it's very, if you practice your craft and you really pump it out, it's very feasible you could end up in this magazine in an issue at some point. There is quite a bit of competition, especially more and more as the issues have gone on. But it's an achievable way to get published to an actual audience that would actually care about the kind of story that you want to tell.
Yeah. And somebody else is taking care of a lot of the league work with the printing and all that sort of stuff. And it's nice. You don't have to write an entire book. You don't have to do something that is that big of an undertaking.
You don't have to do the NaNoWriMo, write 50,000 words in a month kind of thing that a lot of other people try to do. This is just make a short story, but make it good and make it worth people's time. And also keep it yourself. That's if we get away from the mainstream because we don't like what they're doing with stories, what's the point of then just copying the storytelling style of the mainstream, the thing that we dislike? Keep it yourself and keep it good. And it's a very achievable thing to do. Also,
and then branching off from sorry, go ahead.
This is how authors built a writing resume in the old days. Magazine published short. That's a great point, John. That's very true. Actually, a lot of my favorite early century authors got their start that way. Anyway, continue.
I was just going to say, we branched out, obviously trying to do, or we didn't try. We did the music compilation with a group of several IronAge creators, and we started dabbling in that. And I'd love to see that continue going as well. I've pitched out. My wife always jokes. She's like, "You have a lot of ideas for other people." I'm like, I don't have time for all this, but they're good ideas. But yeah, I'd love to see the music aspect of this stuff grow. And if there was like an ANVIL radio where we could bring together music from all the different artists that are in our realm, not just to do the compilation. That stuff's great, but it is a ton of work. I mean, we had meetings every Saturday, working on these songs, refining, going back, changing.
I know the people in that group too. Getting anything done might be a little tough.
No, that's we had fun on the meetings for sure. It wasn't just sit down and serious. If you don't have the fun going into the creative process, that can be tricky as well. But it was a lot of meetings. Making music is a process, and the kind of stuff that we're doing, it's not fast. But if you have artists that already have music and it's like, hey, I'll contribute a song and do sort of like ANVIL magazine, but in the form of a music release, and then it's digital. You don't necessarily have to order the CD. It'd be great if you want to and all that sort of thing. But I think it'd be cool to have an ANVIL radio where there's that going on. And let's say you're an author You're looking for, I need a certain type of song. Will you go on there and this Anvil Radio Volume 1 just released on iTunes and Spotify and everything else. And there's 40 songs in here. That one sucks. That one sucks. Not that they suck, but the artist, the author's like, that's not right for me. Don't like it. Don't like it. Don't like it. Hey, that's a good track. Who's this guy? Oh, hey man, I need a trailer. Your style's perfect. Can you do this? Do you do commissions or whatever? There you go. And it's a place where you can come together. And I'm always looking for new bands to listen to and support indies and things like that. So I would love to see something of that nature happen. And I want a shirt that has, this one right here. I'd love to see this Anvil logo where it's like an anvil, but then it's also like an 80s boombox blended together. So again, I have lots of ideas for somebody else that aren't me, but I just want to. Yeah,
you're full of great ideas, man. You are a creative. It's just
cool something. Gosh. Well, thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. And yeah, no, even like and I've been pitched other ideas. A lot that Evaleigh, explain this. There are a lot of people like you with all these great ideas, but. So a lot of you either don't have the time or the interest to do it necessarily yourself. I have ideas pitched to me for what I should do all the time. I wonder why that is exactly. I'm not a professional. I'm still just figuring all this out like everybody else.
I think it's like anybody. It's, do you have the time to do it? And that's really what it boils down to. And I think most of us are already pulled in so many directions. And if somebody is also already pulled in directions and maybe they could do it, but they know it's going to be a big undertaking. And hey, this guy's already on the path. Maybe he wants my idea, just throw it out there and see if they run with it. And if they don't, it's whatever. But it'd be cool too, talking about earlier with these stories, to see them converted into short films or what have you. You could maybe even have like a spinoff that's an Anvil TV. And you have, instead of short stories that are being written, be like short films. Probably a lot more challenging, a lot more work and editing that goes into it. But there's maybe something there on some level.
Yes, it could be very worth it.
But the restrictions... I mean, it's not like everybody's going to be producing a Chrisman level production. But even just something shorts, like you do those funny shorts on your channel, pulling those together in a place where it's just like, oh, I want to find a new YouTube creator. Oh, Anvil's got, the eyes and there's big people attached to it. And maybe you have other people producing something here and there to keep that going. And then it's a place where you can pull stuff that people have already made, where you don't have to necessarily make something new for the channel. You could, but just a place to bring, aggregate? Is that the word? The different creators and find them all in one location. I forgot to wear. I was going to wear these when we were reading Badlands, and I forgot.
No, I mean, if we're gonna join a club, we better join the country club.
I'm always like, do I have anything that would be in the reflection that I'd be like, I shouldn't have that on there? I don't, but
I wear glasses all the time, and I just whatever. It's in the wind.
I don't know if I want to show you all my how I plan on doing my garden this year. They got the sketches here, so. I don't know if you need to see where I'm planting my beets. Did you steal my
Anvil animations would be sick, dude.
Heck yeah. Just something. I feel like
it's something to consider in the future. If the brand ever gets to a lot big enough point where that's a feasible thing, it would be
to me that's how you get there though, is having somebody that has the time and the interest and the energy to step up and make it happen. And that's the tricky part.
Absolutely. And
yeah.
Oh yeah, here's like an example. Like Jersey James was pointing out. He's like, "Hey, you want to do all these gaming streams, but he's like, and Helldivers is a fun one for you. But what if you were able to play indie music with permission during the stream to promote a single creator, or just like have people come in and talk about their stuff and talk with you while you're gaming?" I'm like, that's a pretty cool idea. That'd be a fun way to like provide entertaining content, hopefully, and then also help give people the opportunity to promote their own stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Animated Moon is lit. He is awesome.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he did a couple little things for you too, actually. And someday when he's done with the next issue of The Blind King, then he's going to be working on something for me as well. Oh, wait, I got to do this right.
Ooh la la, so spicy, yeah.
That's right. I didn't know.
I apologize to that image combined with that voice.
No, it's perfect. It's great. Yeah, he does awesome stuff. His animation's great. Blind King is a really good work.
It's really mysterious and it's very cool.
It is mysterious.
So much mystery.
So much mystery. Yeah.
Yes.
Great artwork. Yeah, I'm hoping to get him. I'm like, I want to like try to make him do all my art from now on. Just have like a lot of bands have a guy they go to for their art always. I'm like, I found somebody awesome.
I've
So
noticed that. Yeah.
do I try to find somebody else just to like support, or do I just keep that visual style? I do love it. I love it so much.
I like your logo. Where did you get your logo from?
Do you really? That's funny. I was just talking about rebranding with another creator not too long ago. It's the reason I did it this way. It doesn't look super professional compared to most logos. I'm aware of that. That was by design. My other logo that I did that was more cursive-y, both times it's just my handwriting, and it's kind of sloppy and unrefined on purpose because I like that. Especially
it's a style choice for me. It's a sad state of being that I can't escape.
I'm like, because your handwriting, it's you. Like that's why a signature is unique. Like people can't really forge it. It's like that's you, man. That's like your own little artwork. And so I wanted to capture that. And I did it before, and it was more flowy when I was doing the chip tuning, and now I'm doing the metal. I made it more like aggressive and that sort of thing, but not perfect. I like it a little bit sloppy because I like my music to have some edge to it. Especially the more we get into AI and AI music and all this stuff, or even just the really overproduced pop that's out there. I'm like, I like it to have a little bit of tooth, man. Keep that flub and that one part of that song in there. You know, don't compress that part. Leave it a little bit.
Yeah,
of
leave it a little bit rough. Even the pop.
Yeah.
Like look at Michael Jackson, the king of pop. He didn't overproduce all of his stuff.
Mm-hmm.
He left a lot of some people consider mistakes in his music.
Yeah, but honestly, I like that. There's a little bit of human quality in there that I think, again, as AI gets better and better at making stuff that just sounds like overproduced pop to have that edge. So my logo, that's why I did it. But to the average person just walking by, they're like, that logo sucks. That guy can't afford a logo guy. And I'm like, it's, yeah. Oh, thank you. I take that as a compliment. And it's like an Attitude Era WWF logo.
The Attitude Era WWF logo.
I think I'm mixing up WCW with the, De-Evolution X, or what is it?
Yeah.
6-Pac.
Anyway, to summarize, Evaleigh likes it sloppy, ladies and gentlemen. Moving on.
Well, I was going to say, but I am talking to another IronAger, very popular IronAger around these parts.
I could guess.
I'm sure you could. Really, really good at design work.
He maybe did stuff for my own channel, actually.
So he might be looking into it and doing something, and I might do a rebrand. It's, it'll be different flavor, but it will probably catch more eyes. Just that casual, average metal listener popping through might be like, oh, that looks professional, rather than like, that looks bad. So it's fine.
I think
I'm not like married to it.
If it looks bad, metal artists might like it better. Or metal people might like it.
Well, most metal logos, like Orbit Culture, they're like the best metal band I've heard in the past like 10 years. Like, come on. How boring is that? Even ESP. Like, this is Electric Sound Products, they're a guitar company, but still, it's just like basic. But I mean, what is that? A simple serif font, all caps, just straight line. The kerning maybe slightly wider than normal, but it's basic. But so many bands are like that, or they have the really like futuristic looking logos. I don't dislike them, but they're cliche for a reason.
I kind of like the older, I like the kind of OG style.
That's kind of where I'm at.
Even if it's new, that's always been my kind of taste in regards to music stuff.
And it's that whole dance too, where I'm like, okay, do I rebrand because that might reach more ears, which is kind of the goal on some level. Like, it's not. I make music for myself, but maybe
you're selling out, man.
All those freaking stoners from the early 2000s.
Acting like they wouldn't sell out if they had the opportunity to.
It's like, so, I don't know. If you were talented enough, if you had anything worth selling, you would have sold out years ago. Anyway.
Yeah. If there's enough money on the table, that's got to be tempting for anybody. I don't care who you are. It's got to be tricky. At least have it wrapped around a sphere. Yeah, exactly. It is hard, man. And it does have an old school quality. Like my most recent album, which I'm going to redo the whole thing at some point. It looks like an album cover from 2005 on purpose. But I'm like, I like that look. But
there's something to that.
Somebody coming by and being like, that looks old. Ew, that's my grandpa's music. Ew, grandpa listened to death metal. Ugh, cringe, gross.
Whenever I think of my favorite album covers or album names, I realize it's so individual why I like, or it depends on the genre a little bit. Like, when I think of metal, an album that I think is only okay compared to their other works, but has the best name, Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. One of my favorite album covers of all time. And that name just kicks 7 kind. Yeah, the bird going diagonally down with like the chrome style, like in the bright. I don't know, something about it just works, man. It's wild looking, but I do.
It's got like
it.
that Art Deco kind of style to it, right? Oh, I thought the background was black. It's yellow.
It's
Background
yellow.
was yellow.
It's in your face. It unzips and flops on your forehead with those colors.
It reminds me a lot. What's up, Mortal Rising? It reminds me a lot of
Rising.
I guarantee Primal. Do you know listen to Primal Fear? Do you know them?
I've heard them, but I couldn't. I don't listen regularly to them.
Gotcha. If you like power metal, definitely check them out. They have these giant metal eagles on a lot of their stuff, and I guarantee they took it from here. Unless it's just like a trope. People like giant metal eagles are literally metal, so that's cool. And eagles,
We're patriotic.
that's what reminds me of. Yeah, dude. Early, especially early Primal Fear. I don't know about the newer stuff, but their early releases, tasty, real crunchy riffage. Definitely inspired by the 80s stuff. Faith No More. Oh, dude, I thought you were just referencing the band Angel Dust, which is a like lesser known. I think they might be American power metal. They had a couple awesome albums too, and that's probably where they got their name from.
Most likely. Now, a band whose name I don't love, but I do like the band, is like Unleash the Archers.
I know that name. They're like
it's a
Canadian. Right?
It's a Canadian-based.
Are they really?
Power metal band.
Huh.
Yeah, I think the main girl is like Brittany Slays, and she's the lead vocalist. But no,
Brittany Slays.
it's a moniker. It's a slight alteration to her real name. But yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I knew them. I assumed that they were Swedish.
Swedish, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like most new bands are Swedish.
Oh, most of the freaking good ones. Why can't power metal be made anywhere else?
Well, I guess there's a handful of American power metal bands, but they kind of faded out. Iced Earth, maybe the biggest amongst them. I know there's a couple Iced Earth fans in here.
I like Iced Earth. They kind of do the Iron Maiden thing where some of their songs are very, very long.
Yeah, they're not all winners, but they have some good tracks, especially if Tim Ripper Owens was a good singer for them, but I liked Matt
Ripper. He rips. His name is appropriate.
He does. He sings well. I liked Matt Barlow had a more unique voice though, and he was more melodramatic in his singing, especially like the horror show, or they did the song Phantom of the Opera and Dracula.
Oh, that's right.
It was so dramatic. It was great.
It was funny, dude.
Yeah. They had some good tracks,
thinking of Iced Earth, I think my favorite song of theirs was from their album about the Civil War. It was At All Cost, and it has like this little part in the beginning where it's not even really singing. He's almost just talking about these two soldiers who were brothers and they're going to fight each other, and it's
The Glorious Burden. Name that one.
That's a great album. That's a great album.
I like. Well, they did an album after that though, and sometimes the lyrics are a little bit silly. They had a song just called. It might have been that album actually. The song was called Green Face.
Green Face.
Oh, nice. Saw the Return concert. That's awesome. I saw them back in like 2001. I actually saw them with In Flames, which is sort of an odd combination, but it was awesome.
I would have been down for it, except 2001. It
might have been In Flames.
I was 7.
Panzer.
I was 7. So
dude,
I probably couldn't have seen that.
I think my first like thrash show, I was 11. My uncle took me to see Overkill. I saw them like 7 times or something.
I'll admit something embarrassing. I've been to concerts. I've been to I've seen a lot of live music. I've never been to a soul, metal, or rock show.
Oh, really?
I've been to shows where they had a rock or metal number, but never an entire show.
Should go see these guys.
I'll look them up. Actually, ironically enough, I almost met the Lord Otter on accident.
Really?
Yeah, he lived. It's a big state. He's anyway, big state. He lives in Florida. You know,
okay.
The complete
another one of them.
The US
we got a lot of them around here.
I know a whole bunch of you guys. Why? Anyway, and I really wanted to see Beast in Black while they were still touring in the US. I had a bonus come in from work, and I'm like, I can do it. I looked up 2 different places I'd have to fly in for like a day or 2, watch the show, and then immediately head home. And the concert in Florida, he ended up going to see them at. That was the option I was going to go with until I had some stuff with kids come up and I couldn't go. But I'm like, I was talking to him about it. I'm like, yeah, I was going to go down to Florida and see Beast in Black, but I missed it. I'm so sad. He's like, oh, that's weird. I actually went. I'm like, What show? He's like, no way, dude.
That's
Dang
funny.
it.
You guys would have been there and not even known, though. You'd have had no idea.
Oh, well, he knows what I look like. He might have recognized
Oh,
me.
that's
actually.
true. That's true. What if he saw you and he didn't say anything? He's like, I know him. He
I
doesn't
would
know
have
me.
I would
You're
have
like,
sent a
why is
slap
that
through the
feller
internet.
wearing a giant otter suit? How odd. Yeah, well.
Why is there an otter in a bar? That's maybe just a Florida thing.
Yeah, that is. Florida man would wear an otter suit to a bar. It's the thing they would probably do.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Immortal. Yeah.
Green face. It's just silly sounding.
It did make me laugh, but I can't hit. But I'm also impressed because I can't hit that note. There's no way. I'm green face or not.
That sounds pretty good.
Oh, just yell.
Hey, I know that guy. Green face. I put a space in that one. I forgot to put a space in my name. Or as Readout calls it, space.
You know my favorite stoner joke?
I don't.
So you're in California, walking down the street. You see this guy looking up at the sky. He stops and looks over. What do you do when you see a spaceman? Well, you park there, man. That's all I got.
That's pretty good.
I apologize to the world collectively for that one, but it's been one of my favorites for years.
I got a lame one. How do you drown a hipster? In Minecraft. I don't know if that's safe to say here.
Oh.
It's just a joke. We're just making jokes. Just joking.
Oh, I
Consult your
thought that
doctor.
in Minecraft was the joke. I thought that was the
I just want to make sure.
How do you drown a hipster in Minecraft?
You throw them in the mainstream.
That hurts. That hurts. My heart. My soul. Everything I am. That one hurt. Holy smokes.
I like that one. That's a favorite of mine. It's a good one. It's a good one.
Why can't Miss Piggy count to 70?
Oh no.
Because that's 69. She got a frog in her throat.
Yeah, heard that one before.
I know, but it's my favorite one. It's a classic.
The refrigerator doesn't fart.
No. I know.
I didn't say it. It's just the punchline. That was all.
Yep.
Yep. Just a Kiko, man. Yep.
Oh, I think we're gonna. All right, boys. It's been good. We've enjoyed covering the first 4 stories in ANVIL magazine. Number one. Number one, man.
Number one.
Number 1.
I can't do the echo. That's one thing I can't. I can't do a fake echo. I can try to do the high pitch voice, but I can't do the echo. It's above my pay grade.
I figured out that's how you do a demon voice. You
Thanks,
make your voice high or low, and then you turn the modulation the opposite way.
Ooh.
So you start doing a deep voice like
This, and then you sound like this. I know your secrets and where you live.
That sounded like there's like a demon and you have a vacuum cleaner and it sucked it in, but its head is still sticking out. It's all squished and it's like, and trying to get at you. That's what that sounded like.
No one can stop me. No one.
Not Dyson, not Shock. No one. Now it's turning into Skeletor.
Anyway.
Oh wait. What's that line? Or
Until we meet again.
there you go. All right, boys. But that's it. God bless you. Thanks for coming.
Yeah. Do you have an outro you play? I can't remember.
No, I just go woo really loudly. What do you
Oh,
got?
that's right. You do woo. That's true. All right.
Iron Age. Good night.